Well, just one more pint, John.
No, you've had plenty, George.
Oh, just one more?
No, it's nigh on closing time anyway. Now, you go off home. Hey, that's not the way.
Oh, I ain't going down by the line. I'm going to take a shortcut across the castle ground.
Oh, it's full moon tonight, George. Look out the black monk don't get you.
To hell with a black monk.
That's right. He's supposed to be old Nick himself. So the story goes.
Yeah. Black monk.
Village have believed the ruins of the old castle to be haunted. The legend tells that at full moon, the figure of a monk in black robes and cowl rides round the ruins on a black horse which breathes fire. And it...
Dad, when can we go on the path?
The wireless says it's raining.
Which way is the fiction, please?
Oh, through the archway on the right.
Thank you.
That's where the fiction is. But don't you spoil Jerry's story. It's out of this world.
Any person crossing the path of this apparition vanishes from the face of the earth, whisked off to feed the eternal fires of hell. For the Black Rider is none other than the devil himself.
Now we come to the present.
Well, it's an interesting story.
Yes, most interesting. We must find out more about this legend.
When can we have a lolly, Dad?
I'd pay the Black Rider to whisk him off.
Where can I buy a copy of the News and Mail?
I'm afraid you can't, sir. I hear they're sold out.
We're sold out. Run away. Go on, run away. Ah, found it. Hello. Robert Black speaking. We're sold out. What? Sure, you can speak to the editor. And the publisher, and the printer. I'm all of them, see, and we're still sold out.
Trade's good.
I got a job for you, Jerry.
Want to follow up on the Black Rider story?
The sooner we forget about that corny nonsense, the better.
It may be corny, but we're nearly sold out on it.
If we print any more, we'll be sold up.
Oh, it's nonsense. It's what the public likes.
Don't you tell me what the public likes. It's your job to make them like what I give them. Here. Run away! Go on, you horrible little thing! Go on!
A baby show in Pettenhall Village.
That's right.
Oh, but Mr. Platt.
You know, you new reporters are all alike. You think you can sell a local paper on stunts. But let me tell you something. It's the baby shows and the flower shows that keep the circulation steady, not Black Riders. Come on, Jerry, it's time we got off home.
Oh, well, I can't come just yet.
Oh, why not?
Well, I've got a date, an appointment.
But your mother's asked Mary and me into tea.
Oh, good heavens, I've forgotten all about that. Well, look, you go on over and get started, and I'll come over as soon as I can.
Now, you listen to me, Jerry Marsh. That's no way to behave to your mother.
Oh, she won't mind.
But I do. And Mary will, too. I'm not going to sit back and watch you playing your mother up like this. Your father and me were friends and neighbors for 20 years. I know how he felt about you popping in and out of jobs like a jack-in-the-box.
Well, I didn't know what I wanted to do till I started with the paper.
Why do you suppose I put you on the paper in the first place? Because I like the color of your eyes?
You said it because you thought I'd make a good reporter.
Never mind what I said. I did it to help you get settled back home with your mother.
Well, I came back from Canada as soon as you offered me the job.
I don't know why you went out there in the first place. If this country's good enough for me, it's good enough for you, too.
Oh, listen, Mr. Platt.
You're doing the listening.
Look, I
don't
don't
think
want
just because you cooked up a bit of tripe like that Black Rider stuff. Oh, blast the thing. And now, Robert Black speaking. It's too late. You know as well as I do that all advertising copy has to be into this office at 5:30. It's too late. No. No, you can't persuade me to change my mind. Very well, then give it to the Gazette. Jerry! Down the thing. Why these things always have to play on that? Oh! Oh! Ted Lintop, what the blazes are you doing here?
Evening, Mr. Black. Club notice for this week's issue.
Seen Jerry?
He just dashed out. Do you want this, or shall I take it around to the printing office?
Swanhaven Motorcycling Club, special trial, Saturday the 14th, Ted Lintop on set.
Well, I thought some of the public might like to come along and have a deco.
If they value their necks, they'll stay indoors. You know, if there's one thing I hate more than anything else in this world, it's motorcycles and everything to do with them. I won't take it.
Okay, Mr. Black, I'll get the Wessex Gazette to put it in. I hear their circulation's much higher than the News and Mail.
That'll be 3 inches 4 bob, an inch 12 bob.
I've also seen the super and got permission to fix a checkpoint at Brockham Arms.
So what?
I thought it'd be a good follow-up story for you. If the Black Rider does turn up and win a reliability trial.
Where's Mary?
Won't be a moment. Just tidying up a bit.
It's a shame Jerry has to be late. You're working him too hard.
Nothing to do with me. I told him to be home at 6 o'clock sharp.
What is this appointment, then?
That's what I'd like to know. You know, Jerry's been behaving very strangely of late.
But you said he was settling down so well.
So he is in his work.
Well, then.
I'm thinking of Mary.
But he's devoted to Mary.
Is he? Then what does he do with his evenings?
His evenings?
Has he told you where he goes?
No.
He hasn't told Mary either. It's not fair. She's never looked at anyone except Jerry.
You don't mean that you think...
Good evening, Mrs. Marsh. Sorry I'm so late, but we've had such a rush at the library today. The Black Rider story. Hello, Dad.
You're not late, dear. Come and sit down. I'm sure Jerry won't be long.
Oh, really? Making him work late again, Father?
I'm doing nothing of the sort. Mary, I want to know what the trouble is between the two of you.
Trouble? Why should you think there's any trouble?
Well, I've got eyes in my head. And if I find that young Flybenite's been playing fast and loose
Oh,
with
don't
you...
be so ridiculous, Father. Jerry's old enough to do as he pleases, and I'm certainly not interested in what he does with his time.
But I am interested, you know. I've got a
You're jumping to conclusions, Mr. Black. Jerry wouldn't.
What wouldn't, Jerry?
Hello, dear. Come and sit down.
I'm sorry I'm late. Hello, Mary.
Hello.
What's the matter with you all? I've got some news for you.
Good news?
I'll say it is. Give you the biggest shock of your lives. Well, come on, out with it. Oh, excuse me, that'll be for me. Hello? Yes, Ted. Yes, I've got her. Oh, she's an absolute beauty. I can hardly believe she's mine. What? No, why should I want to change my mind? She's terrific. I had her out last night. I didn't get back till late. Fast, I'll say she is.
What the?
Where's Mary?
In the garden.
I'll fetch her.
Oh, no, you don't, Jerry Marsh. Have you gone mad? Haven't you any regard at all for Mary's feelings?
What on earth are you talking about?
Really, Jerry, you might have closed the door.
Oh, no.
Look, this isn't a laughing matter. I demand an explanation.
He just can't be well.
You'll be feeling a darn sight worse by the time I finish with him.
Come on, all of you. Well, there she is, isn't she a beauty? Well, what do you think of her?
Jerry.
Come and be introduced.
When did you get her?
Today? I've been saving for months for her. I've joined the motorcycling club, and Ted Lintott, the secretary, has been rushing me around in the evenings trying to find me a bike. This is it.
So that's what you've been doing, and I thought...
I thought it'd be a surprise for you. We've always wanted to get around a bit, now we can. This is the cheapest motoring for two in the world.
Oh, Jerry,
I won't let you ride that horrible thing. You'll kill yourself.
Oh, steady, Mum. Remember, I was a dispatch rider on the Normandy beaches.
I never minded you riding on the beaches. The sand's nice and soft.
But not one member of the club's been involved in an accident in 12 months.
Oh, there's nothing to worry about, Mrs. Marsh.
You keep out of this. I don't hold with motorcycles either. Nasty, noisy, clattering, banging bags of machinery.
Modern ones aren't noisy. Safe as houses if you drive them properly.
That's the trouble. None of you youngsters ever do.
Besides, think how useful it'll be. I'll be able to dash after real life stories. Bang on.
You don't need a motorcycle to report on a baby show.
Oh, now, Dad, don't be silly. Nobody's asking you to ride it.
They'd better not. And if you think that I'm going to let you go traipsing around the countryside on that darn pillion looking like a cross between a sack of potatoes and a chimpanzee, you've got another thing coming.
Well, that settles it then. Come on, Mary. Let's go up to Brockham Castle and see if we can get a follow-up story on the Black Rider. Me and the chimpanzee.
You sure you know how it works?
Well, not really, but if my memory serves me right, I used to kick it, something like this.
Hey! Come back, you young fool!
We shall never see them alive again. They'll be brought home in an ambulance.
Yes? Well, they needn't expect to see me at the funeral.
Sightseers.
Who do you think they've come to see, George or the ruins?
Come on. Evening.
Howdy.
Evening, Frank.
Evening, miss.
Evening, Frank. What are you going to have, Mary?
No cider, please.
Cider and half a bit of for me, please.
The most horriblest sight that ever a human man ever set his eyes on. Black he were. Black as the devil. And do you know why? 'Cause he were the devil.
So, George, I'd like a word with him, will you?
Oh, you won't get him yet a while, sir. You're only good for beer. He's on double scotches.
Oh?
Oh, and a great black stallion of his with smoke and flame belching out of his nose. Oh, and the smell of fire was terrible. But one thing was worse than that, though, was the sound of his hoofbeats belting on the downs as he galloped back to hell. Oh,
Cheers.
dear. And the next business was this.
Yeah.
Flippin' old liar.
He's certainly working his story up.
If you did hear anything, it was probably from our depot.
How far's that from the castle?
Oh, not more than a quarter of a mile. We've got prototypes, the latest tanks, and we're running engine endurance tests.
Well, not at night.
No, not at night.
My dad and his dad afore him, they used to say he always comes at the full moon. Never go near the castle at full moon, they used to say. And by crikey, I never will again.
I'm sure you're very wise.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Why?
Bye.
Good evening, sir. It's all yours now, sir. Beer's better in an empty glass.
Rakoff got to?
You sound the horn, he'll come.
Well, Carter,
It's lucky he likes his drink.
there's no harm done, I think.
Maybe good. Perhaps now people will stay away from the ruins about full moon.
We can afford to take no risks. Next time, I shall arrange for Rakoff to be on watch.
That's poor stuff after scotch.
Well, we're not all millionaires, George. Give him another one. Who are your rich friends, anyway?
Oh, don't rightly know their names. That was Mr. Brenner, who's rented Brockham Manor furnished.
And the lady?
Well, I do hear he says she's his niece.
Some uncles have all the luck.
He's a foreigner. Got pots of money. Or he did have till George here got hold of him. It was him was got hold of me. And you can't blame him. After all, it's not every week as you can face up to a bloke who's met the devil himself.
I'll put a sock in it.
You wait till you've had a taste of owl fire. It gives you a powerful thirst.
Yeah, well, next time you get the taste, you let me know, George. Come on, Mary. Good night, all.
Good night, sir.
What do you think of George's story?
I agree with the corporal, flippin' liar.
He's trading in on it, all right. Never had so many free pints in his life. Just the same, he must have heard or seen something.
No, probably one of those tanks at the depot.
Maybe. Next full moon, I'm going to have a look for myself.
Such an interesting book.
Oh, good.
I'd like to take that one with me.
Certainly. I hope you like it as much.
I don't expect I shall. I've lost my glasses.
It's gone 12:30. You're nearly through. Oh, shan't be long, Joyce. Oh, you go on. I'll lock up. Right here. Bye. Bye.
Hello. Doesn't she look lovely?
Meaning me or the bike?
I'll give you a rub down as well.
Jerry, stop it. Look, I brought you something.
Oh, what is it?
Oh, please see.
A mascot.
To bring you luck in the club trial.
Oh, it's wonderful. Bless you, Mary. Jerry!
What do you think you're doing?
Look, Mary's given me a mascot.
All you can think of nowadays is tinkering with this blasted machine of yours.
I do not tinker.
You do better to pay more attention to your work, you.
Oh, have a heart, Dad. It's Saturday.
I'm working this afternoon anyway. I'm doing a report on the club trial.
But I don't want to report on the club trial.
Oh, you will when you've read it. I'll just go and get my home.
Oh, wait a minute. I'll come with you. I've got something to show you before we go.
You're not proposing to go on this mad jamboree, are you?
I certainly am. I'm sitting on the pillion. But I promise you one thing.
What's that?
I shan't look like a sack of potatoes. legend of the Black Rider of Brockham Castle was widespread in the early decades of the century, possibly due to the efforts of smugglers who are believed to have used the ruins as a collecting centre and saw in the legend a means of safeguarding their privacy. What do you think about that?
I think it's terrific.
Well, do you think anything like that could be happening nowadays?
Well, of course, why not? There's plenty of smuggling still going on, according to Jeff Morgan.
Jeff Morgan?
He's with the Customs and Excise. He's in the Water
Oh,
Guard.
I don't think I've met him.
Well, you will this afternoon. He's a member of the club. Good Lord. Well, I just sat on the darn thing to see if it was as uncomfortable as it looks, and I just got on the machine to see if it's as uncomfortable as it looks, and I suppose I must have touched something there and something down there. Before I knew where I was, the blasted machine almost exploded underneath me. I haven't hurt the bike, thank goodness. The bike? Well, what about me? I feel as if I've been shaken up in a concrete mixer.
No one to blame but yourself, Dad. It's getting on for one, Jerry.
Come on, then, off we go.
Lucky for you there wasn't a policeman about.
Policeman?
Should have had your L plates up. So long, Dad.
Young devils. Well, I made it.
Do you think you won?
Oh, sure I haven't, but it's something to have finished.
Here's the result. First, Jeff Morgan.
Oh, well done, Jeff.
Is he the one in the Coast Guard?
Yes.
Second, Bill Otley.
That's
And third, our latest recruit, Jerry Marsh.
good Lord.
Oh, Jerry, how wonderful. The mascot really did bring you luck.
It must have.
Congratulations, Jerry. Good effort for a first attempt.
Oh, it was the bike, not me. Jeff, I don't think you've met Mary.
You're the one to be congratulated.
I had an unfair advantage, really.
Why?
Well, I know this country like the back of my hand.
What, looking for smugglers?
That's the general idea. These little fishing boats can slip in anywhere.
Can you get from here to the sea, cross-country?
Well, there aren't any roads.
It's easy enough on a motorbike. It's a lovely trip, too. I'd show you myself if I wasn't on duty in the harbor tonight. There's a full moon.
Jeff Morgan, coming.
See you later.
Full moon tonight.
Empty.
so, you see, it was an accident. I only meant to knock him out.
But of course. You don't know your own strength, my dear Rakoff. It'll be an interesting experience for you, facing a murder charge. What did?
I tell you, I didn't mean to kill him. The fence broke.
Oh, sure the judge will take that into account.
Scusi, signore, ma io non c'entro in questo, sa? Dopo le dirò che...
Dopo.
Well, who was the man?
How should I know?
Well, what was he like?
I didn't see him clearly.
Ma aveva un motocicletto, sa?
Yeah, but he had a motorcycle.
There was one parked by the hedge.
Yes, and you remembered to take its number?
I was just going to when I heard him on the walls, close to the entrance to the dungeon.
So you didn't remember to take its number?
The motorcycle had a mascot on it. I saw that.
What a sure instinct you have for trivialities. You'd make a fine politician, my dear Rakoff.
I was only trying to help.
Well, let me explain in words of one syllable. Mario here has only a few more trips to make. After that, we're finished. We go back. But now, thanks to you, we have a dead man on our hands. They'll be searching, police, questioning. We may have to stop work, perhaps start all over again. I wouldn't be you when we get back, Rakoff. That is, of course, if you escape the gallows over here.
That well is very deep, you know. They may never find the body. And there's no murder without a corpse.
Well, they won't stop them from searching. And the last thing we want is a search of the ruins.
But you're forgetting the Black Rider. They'll think it's another of his victims, you know. Some poor motorcyclist. Another scoop for the News and Mail.
Dunque, signore, questa prossima volta sarà l'ultima.
No. Due.
Ma come due? Uno ci basta, dopo devo
Va
tornare.
bene.
What's he say?
He says one more trip should make it complete. I think we better risk it. Now, let's see. What date will it be?
And the sooner the better.
We need full moon.
But if the
We
police...
need full moon to bring high water for the boat.
And to bring the Black Rider to Brockham Castle.
Here we are, for Swanhaven. Full tide 2 days after full moon. That's the 26th. So for us, it'll be the 28th. And this time, the boat will wait and take us with it.
Mrs. Marsh, what's the matter?
It's Jerry.
Well, what's happened to him?
He's not back. He's not in his room.
Come in.
He's killed himself. What? I always knew that horrible machine had been the death of him.
You mean he's had an accident?
I took him up a cup of tea, as I always do on a Sunday. He wasn't there.
Perhaps he went out early.
But his bed hasn't been slept in. Something terrible's happened to him.
What's going on down here? What's all the commotion about?
Jerry's missing.
Missing?
Mrs. Marsh is afraid he's had an accident on his bike.
Oh, said he would.
Never mind what you said. Do something
Do? What?
for him. He may be bleeding to death by the roadside. Go and search for him.
What, on my flat feet?
You ought to be able to get him out. You ought to have a car.
Well, I haven't, so there.
If Jerry can have a motor bicycle, why not you?
I tell you, What?
I know where Jerry was going last night.
Where?
Brockham Castle. It was full moon. He wanted to see for himself.
The Black Rider.
Yeah. Crackers, both of you. Hello. Give me the police.
Jerry!
Hello? Police? Oh. Well, I thought there'd been an accident, but there hasn't. No. No, everything's all right. No, there's nothing you can do. Thank you. I'm very sorry I troubled you.
Morning, everyone. Sorry I put you in a flap.
Where have you been? Just look at your face. What's happened?
It's all right. It's only a bit of an accident.
I said so.
I always knew that machine was a blasted death trap.
It wasn't the bike. It was in the ruins. I got knocked out. A stone fell on me.
Oh, you poor boy. Let me.
No, it's all right, Mother. Just a cup of tea and a bit of sleep. I'll be 100%.
Oh, yes, of course. I'll go make you a nice cup of tea.
Lucky for you it wasn't more serious.
Me?
A lot of help you'd have been with no means of getting about.
I'm going back to bed. Mary, I wasn't hit by a stone. I was knocked out deliberately.
Jerry.
When I came to, I was down the bottom of the well. I don't know whether I fell down or somebody pushed me.
Well, how'd you get out?
Well, I stumbled around for a while, and then I found a shaft that leads from the bottom of the well up to the dungeons.
That was lucky.
Yes, it was. But here's the real gem. I heard what George Amble heard.
You mean Hoofbeats, the Black Rider?
No, it's not Hoofbeats. It's a heavily silenced motorbike. It made off down the lane towards Brockham Manor.
To Brenner's?
Yes, well, it was daylight when I got out, and I went down to the gate by the signpost and had a look round, and I found this.
Seaweed.
What's a piece of fresh seaweed doing 5 miles inland?
You mean it got caught up in a motorbike?
Well, Jeff Morgan says it's an easy run from the coast to Brockham across the downs.
Oh, so perhaps that old book had something.
Well, that's what I think. I'm sure there's some sort of smuggling going on, and the Brenners know something about it. What I want to know is, what are the biggest smuggling rackets nowadays?
What's the idea? Thinking of starting one up for yourself?
Don't be such a clot. I mean, what's paying the most? Diamonds, watches?
I'd lay off those. We've got them all taped.
What else is there?
Suppose you tell me first why you want to know.
All right, Jeff. Look, I'm working on a story, and I think it's something big. And if you'll cooperate, it'll be a clean-up.
Ah, but who cleans up, the Water Guard or the News and Mail?
Both of us.
Okay, you give me the dope and we'll do the rest.
All right. Well, I've got to get my facts straight first. So all I want from you is a little harmless information.
The question is it harmless? And that's something my boss will have to settle. You wait here a minute.
Okay.
Come in. Yes, what is it?
Jerry Marsh of the News and Mail is here, sir.
Oh, what's he want?
Come in, Jerry.
Now, Mr. Marsh, I understand you have some information to give us about a smuggling organization.
Yes, well, I've a hunch that something fishy is going on at Brockham Castle.
So I thought when I read your article in the News and Mail, very fishy.
Well, I believe it's possible for things to be landed on the coast and then taken overland to Brockham Castle by motorcycle.
What sort of things?
Rather hoping you tell me that.
Have you got any facts to support this ingenious theory?
Well, yes, sir, I've got one. I found this in the Brockham Castle grounds.
And you believe this came off a motor bicycle that ran across to the castle from the coast?
Oh, yes, I do, sir.
Has it ever occurred to you, Mr. Marsh, that hundreds of holidaymakers visit Brockham Castle, taking their kids with them?
Well, yes, I know about that, but...
And that practically every kid picks up seaweed on the beach and then throws it away again anywhere?
Well, no, I hadn't thought about that.
Try thinking more frequently, Mr. Marsh. It'll save your time and mine. Good day.
Yes, but...
Morgan, show Mr. Marsh out, will you? Then come back here, please. Door. You didn't give that young man any information, did you?
No, sir.
Oh, I don't blame him. It's his job to cook up a story, but if he got onto this, there'd be merry Hades to pay.
May I see it, sir?
A real menace, if ever there was one. Now they've succeeded in reducing atomic bombs to the size of an artillery shell, the door's wide open.
Do you mean that the parts are so small they can be smuggled in and then assembled here?
Read what it says. Once in this country, they can be assembled into atomic sabotage weapons easily concealed at any key point.
And then exploded by remote control, obliterating an entire locality.
Pretty thought, isn't it? One man, comfortably seated in an armchair, with his finger on a button.
What is it?
Have you got that list of Mario's last assignment?
I'm just checking it. I'll have it ready for you in half an hour. There's nothing in the local papers. I've been right through them.
Yes, I know. I don't like it. Somebody must have found that motorcycle.
Unless whoever it was escaped from the well and removed it.
Oh, that would make even better reading.
You're probably too frightened. I told you the Black Rider would work for us.
We can't afford any further risks so near the end. It's essential that we find out who that snooper was.
Well, what do you suggest? Checking every motorcycle in the country until we find the mascot.
There's no need to do that. Rakoff has now remembered something else. This bicycle had a badge on it. It belongs to the Swan Haven Motorcycling Club. I think that gives us something to work on.
And that's all the dope you can give me? I see. Well, thank you very much. Yes, goodbye.
No luck?
As far as I can discover, there's never been a more downright respected gentleman than Mr. Martin Brenner. Rich, well-connected, with an unblemished character. And to cap it all, that woman Karen really is his niece.
Where do we go from here?
Search me.
Why don't you take a look round Brockham Manor?
Oh, I'm a rotten burglar. I always lose my jemmy.
Well, couldn't you interview him for the paper?
Tell me, Mr. Brenner, is it true that you've taken Brockham Manor for the smuggling? Good Lord.
What is it?
Look. What do you suppose he's doing here?
Snooping, I imagine.
We can't know we suspect him.
Do you think he's found out you were at the ruins that night?
Well, it's possible. He might have identified the bike. Let's go in and see your father, see what he knows about it. Yes, what is it? Well, I wondered what Martin Brenner was doing here.
Mr. Brenner came to see me on business.
And what did he want?
What the devil's it got to do with you?
Oh, now, Dad, no need to get worked up.
Oh, here we are. Swanhaven 209.
Well, I wasn't being inquisitive, Mr. Plack. You
Hello?
see,
Ted Lintott? I've just had Mr. Martin Brenner in from Brockham Manor. He wants you to get in touch with him straight away. He's got a garden fete on next week, and he wants you and your blessed motorcycling club to stage a gymkhana. I told him what I thought of the idea, but he seems set on it. There's no accounting for tastes. Yes, at Brockham Manor. Don't thank me. If you want my opinion, it'll ruin the fete.
Mr. Plack, I'd be very happy to cover the story.
You'll do nothing of the sort. I'll cover it myself.
I've had a look around the house. The French windows are open. I think everybody's out here watching the gymkhana. You'll get your chance after the egg and spoon race.
Well, can't you come with me?
No, I've got to be in every event, so they'll stay watching me.
I don't even know what I'm supposed to be looking for.
Well, anything suspicious.
What if I'm spotted?
Well, then, oh, for goodness sake, well, you wanted to powder your nose. Beautiful bit of riding, that. Beautiful. Oh.
Look very dangerous to me.
Nonsense. These boys have got perfect control of their machines.
Hello, Mr. Plack. Didn't expect to see you here. Or Mrs. Marsh.
Well, Jerry wanted us to come and support him. I didn't like to let him down, you know.
Enjoying yourself?
Might be worse.
Attention, please. The next event will be the egg and spoon race. Will competitors please assemble at the starting post?
This should be fun. Mary's riding with Jerry. Unfortunately, my pillion ride has failed me.
So you're out of it, eh?
Yes, unless I can find a substitute. What about you, Mr. Plack?
Certainly not. He'll break his neck.
Nonsense. If Mary can do it, I certainly can. I'll have a crack.
Okay, hop on. Back to back.
Oh.
Right?
Yes, go on, away you go.
Thanks, Mr. Brown.
It must be very difficult riding back to front.
Oh, there's nothing to it really enough. Just a good sense of balance and a steady hand. Oh, crack.
I'm sorry.
No, it's my fault. I should have seen the bump. Anyway, it wouldn't have done to beat your father.
Attention, please. The next event will be the obstacle race.
Now's your chance. Go around the back of the tent and cut across to the house.
The man knew what I was looking for.
Go on with you.
The 28th.
Can I help you?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I wanted to make a telephone call.
Oh, yes.
I tried to find someone to ask permission, but there was no one about. I do hope you don't mind.
Well, I hope you managed to get through all right.
Oh, yes, thank you. It was only a local call to Swanhaven. Oh, that could be fourpence.
Oh, please don't bother. I'm sure my uncle would have no objection to your using his telephone.
Will competitors please assemble in front of the judges' table?
Oh, I must go. I'm in this.
Really? Who are you riding with?
Jerry Marsh. He's got a new machine. We stand quite a chance.
But how exciting. I'd like to see it. I'll come with you.
Will competitors please assemble in front of the judges' table for the Concord Elegance?
Who's the judge?
That's Mr. Brenner.
Do you think he's to be trusted?
Of course he is. He's a very nice man.
I don't like his hat.
I think she suspects you.
I don't know.
You have to lie low today. It's the 28th that matters.
What a charming and unusual mascot.
I'm glad you like it. Mary here gave it to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the Concord d'Elegance is number 14, Jerry Marsh.
He's done it. I knew they'd win. The best part on the ground.
I found her standing by the desk. She said she'd been telephoning.
I see. Very well, we shall have to deal with both of them.
If I could get at his machine before they leave.
No. That's crude, Rakoff, and far too chancy. No, I fancy I have a much better idea than that.
Well, this is what I've worked out. Tomorrow's the 28th. So at sundown, I'll go along to it.
We'll go.
No, darling, you can't come in on this.
Last time you went on your own, you got hit in the head. This time I'm coming with you, and we may get something done. Have another sandwich.
All right, you win. Well, we'll hide out in the lane where it reaches the Brockham Manor Drive, and then we can keep a check on anybody that comes in or anybody that goes out.
And then?
Well, if we get hold of anything definite, we'll go along and see old Racton, then hand everything over to the water guard. On one condition.
Which is?
That I get an exclusive story. Oh, Mary, if it's true what we think is happening, all the national papers will want the story, and then I'll really be getting somewhere.
With boots that pinch and an outsize and hats.
And a wedding ring in my pocket.
Jerry,
Well, your father won't be out to kick, I'll be in the money.
you really mean that?
Of course I mean it. Why do you think I want the story?
You know, I like you. A lot.
Mm-hmm.
Now I must run or I'll be late for the library. See you tomorrow.
Oh, what's wrong with tonight?
Now at the library staff party at Blanchester.
Oh, so it is. I'd forgotten. No flirting with that chief librarian. I bet he's a wolf.
No, only a bookworm.
Hey,
Yes?
you Miss Black, the assistant librarian?
Yes.
I've got some books from the Blanchester branch.
Oh, I know nothing about them.
It was fixed up with the chief librarian. They're in here.
Which are they?
Those. If you check them over, I'll carry them in for you.
Oh, all right.
Hey, what on earth? Sit quite still. More tea, Jerry?
Thank you, Mother.
Mr. Black.
I'm sorry to burst in so early, but have you seen Mary?
Mary, no.
She hasn't been home all night.
Good gracious.
Oh, no, well, she went over to the library staff party. She's probably missed her bus and stayed over with Joyce.
Oh, well, there's nothing to worry about, Mr. Black. Have a cup of tea. I'll go make a fresh pot.
I've just been on to the chief librarian. She didn't even turn up at the party.
Good Lord, I wonder...
I don't know what to think about this. I've got to get in touch with the police.
No, look, I'll take you over on the bike, then you can see the superintendent personally.
Thanks, Jerry.
This has just arrived.
What is it?
Your girlfriend is taking a trip. If you want her to return, don't interfere in other people's business. If you contact police or other authorities, she's had it.
But I don't understand.
It's just ordinary cheap paper, typewritten, posted Southampton, 7 p.m. All according to Boy's own formula.
Do you mean this is some sort of stupid joke?
This is no sort of joke. She's been kidnapped.
Don't talk such nonsense.
Look, I should have told you before, Mr. Plack.
Open the door, I've got...
Look, make some excuse to Mother and get over to the office as soon as you can. I've got some telephoning to do. See you later, dear. So I went along to Brockham Manor and there was no one there. Then I checked with the house agents and they said the Brenner and Company had moved out yesterday afternoon.
They're getting to pay the rent?
No. Everything's in order on the surface, but I believe there's some serious racket going on underneath if they're willing to go as far as kidnapping.
We've got to get Mary back.
Well, that's why we're here. Jeff, when I went along to see your old man, he said he couldn't do anything for me until I produced some sort of fax. Well, I've got here. But I daren't show it to him or the police because of Mary. If there's a boat that can smuggle things into this country, there's a boat that can smuggle Mary out.
Well, you're right, Jerry, but what can we do?
Ted, I want the club to help me arrange a special coast-watching operation for tonight.
There's your tracing, Jim. It's taken off the ordnance map, and it shows the coastline and tracks across the Downs as far as Brockham. Your watch point is marked too, and mind you keep to it. That way we can be certain that a 10-mile section is covered. Any questions? Yes, you haven't given me one.
Nor me.
You two won't need one. Your job will be to cover the lane from the manor down to the ruins.
What are those, Jeff?
Signal flares. Hand them round, will you, Ted? Yeah. I pinched them from the Coast Guard stores. Now, there's one for each watching point. If you spot anything suspicious, send up a flare. Then the riders who are nearest can go in support and the rest converge on Brockham. Oh, one more point. There's a full moon out tonight, so try to manage without headlights.
When's high water, Jeff?
20 minutes after 12, but keep your eyes skinned all the time. They might have watchers out, and this has got to look like another cross-country run. Well, all set? Right, let's make a start. Sure you can manage?
Well, I won the egg and spoon race, didn't I?
us, and good luck.
Nearly 12:30.
We couldn't have missed the signal, could we?
Oh, not from up here, no. Maybe they've missed the tide. Look! Look at that. They're off, and they haven't got Mary with them. Then we can get after that chap. Look at him, he'll never get up that cliff. Come on. Light the flare.
I think he went in there. Right. You wait here and tell the others to surround the castle. That way we'll make sure of the basket. Right. Okay, let's go.
Ci sono delle motociclette dappertutto.
He says there are motorcycles all over the dam.
Customs?
Toginari?
No, non credo. Neanche la polizia. Mi sembra piuttosto una gara di motocicletti.
He doesn't think so. Nor police, more like some sort of motorcycle trial.
Well, I don't like it. The sooner we're through, the better.
Here, look. Not a sign of himself. Well, it's his machine. He must be somewhere.
It's a Continental bike. Look at that silencer, Jeff.
No wonder old George thought it sounded like hoofbeats.
Never mind the machine. It's the rider we want.
I know where he'd be, the dungeons.
Oh, that's set. Now there's only the remote control to fix.
This is too big for us now. I'll have to report. We've got to get after that boat.
But what about Mary?
They won't harm her now that they know we're onto them.
Look, there's 4 of us up here. That's enough to take them.
When the shooting starts, it's a job for my skipper. All you've got to do is to keep them down there.
But supposing they've got Mary down there with them?
They'd pick us off one by one on that narrow stair.
You don't need the stair. There's a shaft from the old well. One I escaped from. We want some rope.
I've got a tow line in my saddlebag.
You get it. You come with me.
Can you hear anything, Rakoff?
No, it's all quiet.
We'll be set in a minute. What about the boat?
Mail Batello.
Just Petrali.
It'll be waiting in Mallard Cove.
You can get there by road.
Here we are.
Oh, good. Well, look, you and Jim look after the entrance. Ted, you follow me down, okay?
Right.
Okay. Now, look, be careful, boy. Take this way. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Good. There I go. Yep.
Now for the wall. El Muro. Back off. Slip up.
See if it's all clear outside.
What about the girl? We're going to take her with us?
We'll have to. We can't afford any risks.
Okay, Ted. Now, careful, boy. Got it. You're all right. Okay.
Harry, I saw someone in the courtyard. Don't move. Now keep your hand up.
Look out. Someone's coming. Okay, Jeff. Situation's well in hand. All clear, sir. They won't worry you.
Mary, take the coaches.
They're all yours, Mr. Racton.
Look at this, sir.
It fits the description on the secret list, and that.
Yes, yes, it does. Looks like my hunch was right after all, Mr. Acton. But I still don't get their racket. It's not diamonds or watches.
No, just an atomic sabotage weapon, that's all, fitted with remote control.
They've been smuggling in the parts and assembling it here.
Well, what on earth the good of it in Brockham Castle?
Couldn't be better placed. Next door to the tank experimental depot.
Atomic sabotage weapon.
It's the story of the century.
Oh, what a pity you won't have room to print it.
What do you mean, room to print it?
You're covering a baby show.
Now, look.
This newspaper, always on the lookout for young men with initiative and real news sense, is pleased to announce that Jerry Marsh has joined the reporting staff and will take up his duties...
After his honeymoon.
Oh, Jerry, it can't be true. I'm dreaming.
That time you woke up.
For heaven's sake, can't you wait until you're married?
Well, it's very difficult. I'm sorry.
And while you're still with the News and Mail, Jerry Marsh, will you kindly not park your motorcycle slap in the middle of the yard?
Oh, sorry, Mr. Black. I'll move it right away.
What on earth? It's mine.
Dad!
Yes? Since I've been elected president of the Swanhaven Motorcycling Club, I must have some means of transport. The only trouble is, I don't know how to start the darn thing.
Oh, we'll soon show you how to do that. Get in, Mary. You jump on the back.
Oh.